What is up, everybody? This is Brad O'Brien with the SnapCast podcast, a Magic the Gathering podcast for a casual player with a competitive interest in MTG finance. You will notice I am flying solo this evening. My typical compatriot, Mike Cooley, couldn't be with us tonight, so I'm just going to do a brief episode and just think about and share with you some of the thoughts that I've had this week and today, looking at some cards that really interested me, cards that I'm thinking about picking up, and thinking about what's going on with Magic. And so the name on this cast today, The Best Time to Plant a Tree, it comes from a very popular saying, which is, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, and the second best time is today. Which is to say, you can look back with hindsight and say, oh, this would have been the right time to buy a card when it was at its absolute lowest. But you can't go back in time. So the only thing you can do is make the right choice now going forward. Whoop, whoop. We got Jason Clark in the chat, so I'm not entirely alone. So one of the things that I've been thinking about lately is, and Mike is always here talking about playing Legacy and Vintage and that sort of stuff. I've never played a game of Legacy. I've played Old School, but never Legacy. And so I started looking at some Legacy lists and saw some really cool, sort of affordable Death and Taxes type lists, mono white lists, especially now with Sanctum Prelate reprinted and that sort of thing. It seemed like it was fairly attainable. The only thing that I would need is 4 Caracas, 4 Wasteland, and 4 of another very important land. And let's see. Looking at some Death and Taxes lists. Of course, now that I'm here, I'm thinking, talking to you guys all by myself may not be as fun. Rashad and Port. Again, my lack of experience with Legacy. So I started looking at these 4 lands, Wasteland, Rashad and Port, and Caracas, and found some pretty interesting stuff. Which, specifically, if we take a look at Caracas, I see a bump here that I'm calling the PCE, and it's an indication of the post-COVID era. Or people preparing for the post-COVID era, where this card, again, could have been gotten. Well, let's not look at the Legends version, because that's going to be the most expensive. If I'm going to get into this deck, I'm probably looking at the Ultimate Masters version. And that shows a much smaller PCE, or, post-COVID bump. Maybe we'll call it the PCB. Of course, that's a computer term. This card could have been had for as little as $13 at one point, and is now back up to pushing $40. Holy cow. So again, the best time to buy a tree is apparently July. Look at that, under $12. Best time to buy a tree was April 27th, 2020. But this card has been as high as 62 in this printing after release. So there was something in Legacy play that at that time had brought that up. So sort of saying 37, still not bad considering that price memory that Mike talks about a lot. This card was a $60 card. So if I want to play this deck, I can't go back in time and get it then. I have to pay the price that it is now. One of the things that I kind of want to point out is, here on MTG Stocks, if I go to the Analytics tab and all-time high, all-time low, there's a lot of information. This doesn't necessarily seem super useful, but you can sort it by set. And what I found is Commander Legends, which is a recent printed set, No, that's funny. Why don't I see it on here? Commander Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, Conspiracy. Let's take a look. What can we find? Oh, I want to look at all-time low. Commander Legends. One of the interesting things. So now I'm looking at cards in Commander Legends that are at their record low prices in recent times. So this is July 15th, 14th. And the thing that I noticed is Training Center and Rejuvenating Springs, these Commander-centered dual lands, are both below $10. Why do I bring that up? Well, if we look at a card like Morphic Pool, and Morphic Pool, you can see at one point was in that $6, $7, $8 range. But now, even after a reprint, is still up about $25. So I guess the reason why I'm pointing out the best time to buy, or the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. Well, now is that time for cards like Nakarakis, Rejuvenating Springs, that we just saw at its all-time low, $8, because this card will be a $20 or $25 card. Give it a year or two. And Morphic Pool shows that even after a reprint in Zendikar Expeditions is still holding a almost double or more that price that it was. Same thing with the training center. Can it go down any more? Possibly. Is the amount that you're going to save between it going from $6 to $5 outweigh the amount you're going to save not buying them when you think about it and coming back and it being a $25 card in a year or 2 years? There is a full art version. That may be the hip one to go for. And you can see this has been a flat price, but that's not going to last forever. Another card that I think the best time to buy a tree, the best time to plant a tree on might be Mana Drain, which is also the Iconic Masters version and the Commander Legends version, are both right now at about all-time lows. Under $50. If you go to TCG Player, you can get these Mana Drains for as low as $40 plus shipping. This has been consistently a card over $50. So if we go and look at that Iconic Masters printing, which has been around a while, that came out in 2017. The price dropped to 51, climbed up to 75, climbed up to 110, climbed up to 153, and then dropped again after the printing of Commander Legends. And so you can see where the prices dropped off after that reprint. But between 2018 and mid-2020, that card almost tripled in value. And it's the kind of card that's going to do that consistently, even if it doesn't get back up to $150. If it doubles from the $30, $40 that you're paying right now to $80, that you're in a much better position than next year or 2 years from now looking back and thinking I should have planted that tree at that time. So I would just say take a look at Mana Drain. If you don't own one for Commander, you may want to look at it. Take a look at the Battle Bond lands, for lack of a better term. We got the second half of those in Commander Legends as well. Many of those are right now at their all-time lows. Now is the time to plant that tree to get them so that you're not looking back in a year or two and saying, crap, I wish there's a sign. I just realized I haven't put the computer on screen at all for any of this, that when there's a saying for a shop in Maine here, you should have bought it when you saw it at Martin's. That's the position that we're in right now. You want to buy these cards now while they're at their all-time low. Again, for Training Center, here's the all-time low. 716 was on July 14th. It won't stay that way. I would say that Modern is looking ridiculous right now. If there's pre-release this weekend, I'm all over the place with this right now. I was pretty excited actually to play some Affinity this weekend for F&M, and then I found out that it was actually pre-release, so that isn't going to happen. But then I remembered that I have a gig, so I'm not even going to make it anyway. So if you're playing pre-release this weekend, I hope you have good pulls. I hope you have a lot of fun. I hope you take a look at folks' trade binders. Take a look at all of the mythics from Modern Horizons 2 that people are under evaluating right now, like Turok, Dread Cantor. Take a look at some of the rares like Sanctum Invec and Dwathi Voidwalker that are super powerful cards that just haven't found their decks yet. Those have a lot of room to go up. And I wish you luck, and hopefully I'll see you back here next week with Mike, and we will get a little deeper into this MTG finance stuff that we all love. Peace out. Have a great night.